Hi, everybody. It is July 4th, and I just felt compelled to do this reading today. I've got a link in the description box for the July forecast, the July Astro Tarot forecast that Millie and I did probably about 4 days ago or so. And there's weird energies happening. So today the astrological aspects are, we've got Mars entering Taurus, Mercury entering Cancer, and then Mercury sextiling Mars. And that's what we've got going on today. And of course, those energies continue, as well as the other major aspects that have been happening. And then July 8th, we've got Mercury in Cancer. Scaring. Yes, scaring Jupiter in Aries. Goodness. So that might not mean anything to you in this context, but I would say, yeah, take a look at the other video. And you can always watch that video throughout the month, you know, a week at a time or whatever. Just make note of the particular dates that you think might impact you based on what you're doing. I am wearing a woolen poncho, and yes, it is July 4th in Canada, and it is cold. It is 15 degrees Celsius, so that's what we're doing. Lots of people are feeling extra emotional right now. They're being triggered. There's a lot of old wounds coming to the surface, and that might be accompanied by anger, repressed anger, rage. Anger becomes rage when we aren't dealing with it. And so we've been talking about this purging thing that's been going on forever. It feels like forever, months and months and months, 8 to 10 months. Well, we're July, so it's about a year. It's just about a year. And if you haven't been dealing with it all this time, it's coming up in ugly ways. Sometimes ugly ways, sometimes really uncomfortable ways. It's not ever comfortable. Purging is typically done it occurs in such a way that that we feel it. If it was a walk in the park, you know, we'd be doing it more often. A little update. I have begun to design my own tarot deck. I know what style I'm not doing. You can say that. I haven't drawn anything I'm keeping yet. And I do have a book which I'm going to revamp and turn into a workbook to accompany that deck. So it's going to take a while. It's going to take me a little bit of time. In the meantime, I picked up a new tarot deck called the Mona Lisa Tarot. And it's all around the Leonardo da Vinci world around the time he painted Mona Lisa. I don't know what this reading is going to really have to say, what it's really going to focus on. But I think people are feeling the stuff. And I always read the cards upright. So we shall see. I'm just going to take the cards that kind of hop out. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, hold on. Wow. Okay, this is something else here. So the Five of Cups. there's a loss. We're experiencing the loss of a lot of things on a big scale, on a grand scale, on a global scale. Um, talk about purging. My goodness, this is really purging on every level, I think. Um, things being removed, things that were in our purview, um, things that we may not have agreed to, or we think we haven't agreed to, but they're in our current reality. And if they're there, that means we have to do something about it. So you can either ask the universe to remove them, you can try and remove them, you can do something about it, you can try and change it, you can accept it, you could welcome it, you could, there's lots of different things, but there is a feeling of loss. And it's a feeling, I think, of heartache, um, in a different way, of knowing that things cannot stay the same. And then we have, this is the Page of Pentacles. And it's usually a card about communication or contracts. Pages are all messengers of things. But it's kind of like putting something away for a rainy day here. All these different bundles. What do you choose to participate in when it comes to communication? What contracts, and I don't mean just written contracts, I mean like the contracts we make on an energetic level that we're participating in. So these two things together are kind of like, what are you participating in? What are we participating in still? Are we resisting something? What we resist persists. And soul contracts, life purposes, the type of people and situations that we encounter over and over again. All these things, if we do not feel like we're getting the lesson, they're going to keep happening. They're going to just keep happening to us. If you want to get over the lesson, you're able to clear it. You're able to purge that recurring thing. Okay. And then we have the Seven of Cups. And she's putting this little potion in there as this guy is lying in the bed, kind of ill. Lots of different options. Now, is this poison? Is this, lots of things are poisonous if you take them in excess. What's the difference between medicine and poison? Oftentimes. Okay. This is also a card of self-indulgence. So I see a progression here of something being lost, or something being wasted, or something being let go of, but remembered. You know, there's remembrance attached to it. And then those contracts, saving something, you know, you plant a seed or you store something for a later date, saving for a rainy day, but it's more like information that you might not need at this time, but you need it in the future. Or that was something that happened to you in your past and now is the future. It's come to fruition. So I think the options that are available here, what are the options when you get to this point? Are we at that point right now? It feels like we are. It feels like we're sort of at this, we've hit a corner, or a crossroads or something. And is it an elixir? Is it, you know, is it the blue pill, the red pill? What are we taking right now at this time? And then we have the Ten of Wands. This is the, the Nine of Wands is setting up healthy boundaries, really. It's not like building walls around yourself. It's healthy boundaries. It's learning from the past and making a decision to not repeat patterns and habits and situations, behaviors. Where to draw that line? Nines are typically the maximum that you can achieve before it resets. When you get to a 10, it's a 1 and a 0. It's the last thing you hit before you start over at 1 with the beginner's mind in a new phase, a new life, a new sense of awareness, a new feeling. So the Ten of Wands is typically a burden. We've hit the maximum capacity, the saturation point of all that we can take. And we look at him here, he's ready to cross that river. He's sort of testing the waters, so to speak, to figure out how he's going to go across. How deep is it? What's the current like? How is he going to get there? Okay. Okay. That was the hummingbird hitting the window. The hummingbirds do this. I was just telling this to somebody. Whenever I say something energetically in alignment that's big, the hummingbird hits my window. I can go hours and hours and days upon days, and they fly up and they drink from their feeder. But it's only when I say something that's bang on, even in the middle of a class, they come and then right on the window. So I was just going to say, I think we have something here, and there we go. So the hummingbirds agree with me, or they agree with the cards. Anyway, what the energy is saying, so here we do have that 9, okay? And they are bringing something to life in that stone. It's a marble statue that looks lifelike, okay? And as I was saying before, it is, what is the boundary? What are the limits? What are the limits that we create? Are we bound by space and time? Are we bound by this physical 3D body, by this physical 3D world? Everything is vibrating at a certain frequency that we can experience in our purview. What's just outside of that? I know they're starting CERN up on the 5th, which some of you might be watching this after that. It would be 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, we also have, this is again a feeling of excess, crying over spilt milk, not seeing the opportunity that is actually there. Everybody's kind of caught up in folly. And I think right now what people are caught up in, it's not so much, there is an aspect to it that is like folly, foolishness, maybe, delirium, delusional thinking even. But there's a lot of distraction from what is real. And even the question of, how do you know what is real? And I think that's even going to get blurrier as we're getting polarized through society. It's kind of thriving on the undercurrents of anger and discord among people. And you see tempers flaring, and people are afraid, and so then they react defensively to each other, holding on to things out of fear as opposed to maybe more rational thinking. Okay. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles. And it's unusual. It's actually the Mona Lisa. She is, like the muse. And she is grounded and earthy, and she has a deep sense of knowing. This Queen of Discs is self-aware, self-actualized, feet on the ground in the 3D world, but is able to access this something else that's intangible. Okay, and there's a great deal of comfort and security and stability here. We actually have the Chariot, the Tarot at the bottom of the deck. The Chariot at the bottom of the deck. The message with this card is, before you learn to fly, you must learn to land. This is transportation, travel, balance between the dark and the light, the dark energies and the light energies, dabbling in things just for the sake of it. And this Ace of Wands is coming up all the time. This is actually the first card that I tried to draw yesterday. Not this, but the Ace of Wands. And I won't tell you yet what the imagery that I wanted was, but he's actually painting this tree sort of as part of the background. And the Ace of Wands is the inspiration. Like, where do you get the inspiration? Where does inspiration come from? Part of it is your intellect. Yes, you're thinking of something. You're looking at things and thinking. But inspiration on that creative level, it comes from somewhere else. That's where we tap into something beyond ourselves, bring it into our mental space, our intellectual capacity, and turn it into something else. So we're transmuting energy with the Ace of Wands. There's something intangible that we channel through us. We analyze it, think about it, formulate it, decide what to do with it with our intellect, and then process it through our body and create something with it. Actually turn it into some manifestation. Okay, so that's what the Ace of Wands really means. And this card has come up, like, for the month of June, I would say, more often than any other card, really. It is a fiery, masculine energy. It is the reset of the wounded masculine, the reset of the toxic masculine. And that's something to harness. It's not gender specific. It's the energy of that. It is the yin energy. Now, I just shuffled. This was at the bottom of the deck, the King of Swords, and it popped up again. So he's writing and writing these scrolls. He's very focused by candlelight here. This is somebody who's got strong intellectual capabilities. They are clear thinking, rational, focused, directed. So I think, this Ace of Wands connected. So this is fire and this is air. I think that's a very interesting balance of passion ignited with rational thinking, critical thinking, and communication. Swords, air signs, it's all about communication. And I had the Emperor at the bottom of the deck there. Okay. And we also have the Page of Swords. So a little bit of an accident happened here. So handling things, again, when I look at these two cards, the Chariot and this together, and the Page of Swords doesn't always mean this, but in this deck, be careful. If you think you're going to have a reactive response to a triggering event, withdraw and pause. Come to that place of where you can transmute that energy. This is a lot about transmuting energy, actually. And I have the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. That is a stable, slow-moving, reliable energy. Like I said, I wasn't sure where this was going to go. Okay, and then we have the Death card. We actually have somebody here. There's putting on a mask. It's an actor. There's a knight's costume there. And think about all the masks that we wear for different things. Is it a mask that society tells us to put on? Is it, think about the people that you're encountering. They're behaving in a certain way. The person that they are, is that a construct of really who they want to be or what their divine purpose is, or are they just a construct of what they've grown accustomed to, who their friends or peers or family expect them to be? Do they even know why they react in the way they do? Okay, I think these are the last two of this I'm going to pull. So we have the Hermit, which is Leonardo da Vinci in this case, and we have the Six of Pentacles. Leonardo and the Six of Pentacles. Again, this Hermit is creative. This is a hermit who spends time alone to reflect, channel that creativity, transmute that energy. I feel like I'm a little Leonardo-ish today myself. The Six of Pentacles in this case is charity. It can be things like philanthropy, philanthrocapitalism. I heard that term today. When we give something, why are we giving it? Is there an expectation tied to it? When we accept something that's been given to us, are we entering into some kind of a reciprocal expectation as well? They're very interesting cards to come out together. The Hermit and the Six of Discs. So quite often, this card means, if you've put effort into something, if you've been doing work or intentionally pursuing something, doing something, being very deliberate in your actions, it's following your higher purpose. The Six of Pentacles means that you're getting fair compensation for it. Even putting in the time, putting in the effort, your sweat equity is about to pay off, whether it's in a real tangible sense or whether it's, the universe rewarding you for what you've been doing. Sometimes it's not a direct thing. You work, 10 hours, you get 10 hours of pay. That's a very obvious and practical kind of interpretation. But sometimes it's things like, you've been putting the effort out there, door knocking in whatever sense for your work or your business, and none of those things pan out. But all of a sudden something comes in from somewhere else because energetically it's reciprocal. Okay, so that's that for that. There are lots of little bits and pieces there, and maybe that makes sense to you. I'm going to pause this and get my other cards. I went away, I paused. These are the runes. I just want to see what the runes have to say about the energy today, tomorrow. Let's see. Okay. We have communication and connection with our ancestry, our lineage. There's a feeling about I got goosebumps there for a second. There's a feeling about coming full circle and actually going through a portal of sorts. So the things that feed, this is the mouth here. So the things that come in, these are the things that feed and nourish us. What comes out, it's sound, words, singing, spell casting, whatever, manifesting things. But it first starts with, the idea. We're processing. We are taking something very intangible, turning it into a thought, and communicating it outwards to make it manifest. This feeling of, I almost get this sense of the lineage. When I hear the word lineage, I think of a line, and it's almost like that double helix DNA, but all of a sudden it snaps into place. Like, instead of this swirling thing, it's the shortest distance between A and B. And in connection with that too, it's kind of funny that I said that now. This is Ing, and sometimes you just see it as the center, the diamond in the middle, but it's actually these two overlapping things, which is, kind of reminds me of a rune version of the DNA strand. And this is entering into, it is a portal, we are turning a corner. We are transcending something. We are at a crossroads. What is it that you want to manifest? How do you want to move forward with this? Whatever, with your life, with your thoughts, with how you behave, how you react, what you stand for, what you won't stand for. Whose fault is it? Are we playing the blame game, or are we choosing to do something constructive, positive? How do we shift? How are you going to use your power in the softest, strongest, most gentle, loving way? Well, I just got responsibility flew out there. Responsibility. And it says, do what feels right for you above all else. It is impossible to please all parties in the present situation. You have responsibility only for your own life and actions. Others must take responsibility for themselves. Okay. Well, let me shuffle these with a little bit of an intention. What is the message? Because people are feeling off, I think. A little emotional, a little wiped out. Okay, that one just flew out. It just flew out. I shuffled and it went like a fluffy feather, a feather. Good news, it says. This angelic being is saying good news. So it says, good news is coming your way. Something beautiful is about to manifest. Feelings of elation, like you're on a cloud. It's time to celebrate all the wonder and beauty in your life. Well, I guess that's how we shift. That is how we shift. How to transmute that negative energy is to focus on the things that we have in common with each other. You know, when the powers that shouldn't be, the powers that used to be, like to divide and conquer. And it's a very interesting mechanism because the way it's set up is they're so far removed from it, we do it to ourselves. It's brilliant, even if it's evil. So how do we combat that? We combat that by finding things that link the us and them and realize that we are actually all connected, because we are. So the other card is patience. Just as it says, you are entering a time of great love and peace. Be patient and allow the current storm to clear. Resurrection. No more wounds, only love predicted for the future. Well, that's good. But I don't think it happens on its own. It comes from willing participants. Okay. I think there's lots to think about in this. And last month I did say that I was going to do, I was probably going to do a Saturn retrograde check-in every month until it goes direct again. And so I think I'm going to do that. And it's 333. Yes, I think I'm going to do that later this week. So that is a major influence. Check in with everybody. See if anybody's jumped timelines or, you know, anything odd has happened. More odd than usual. In my case, that's usually the way it goes. Well, find ways of connecting. I think that's the message. Please like, share, subscribe. See you soon.